Hello. Hi, my name is Clara. I am the co founder of List Perfectly. Welcome to a very special session. I'm so excited because we're going to be talking about free ways to direct traffic to your closet, to your Shopify store, to your eBay store, anywhere. So let me tell you that I'm not going to be talking to you by myself because I'm joined by my marketing guru, my marketing expertise. Okay, expert. Welcome, Bailey. Welcome, Bailey. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. And happy Friday, everyone. Happy May. We're officially into spring, hopefully.
Yes. Indeed. Happy Friday and welcome. Bailey, would you be so kind to introduce yourself and explain our audience what's your involvement with List Perfectly and as a reseller, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been on and off with Liz Perfectly a little bit. I started as a social media intern back in 2020, and I finished off a 6-month long intern, which was great because it was remote and I got to further my experience. And of course, 2020 was COVID time. So it was really great to have a company that was willing to, give internships in that way to further my career and lead me into graduating and everything. And then I came back on as a full-time employee in
Yeah.
May of 2023. So I am just close to hitting my 2-year mark of being a full-time employee with List Perfectly. I started out as a social media coordinator and have kind of transitioned into marketing coordinator, but it's all kind of the same, just doing marketing content. Obviously, if you follow us on social media, I'm sure you've seen my face a few times in videos and stuff. And then I am a reseller as well. I have 2 young boys, so they're constantly growing out of their clothes and shoes. So I definitely dabble in it more because it's just like stuff that I have around the house that I get to just,
Yeah.
declutter and everything, especially their stuff that's gently used and everything. And then I also love supporting resellers too because I buy a lot of thrifted or resold pieces for my kids because I love vintage boy clothes for one, and also
Oh, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, I love vintage boy clothes. And they are just growing constantly, so it's practical to also just thrift or source from other resellers on eBay, Depop, Poshmark are the main 3 that I've bought on for them as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and my experience with reselling.
Amazing, amazing. So, for this is a special event because Bailey has been able to fully understand my social commerce strategy. That is not easy, okay? So, we're here to debunk how did I build a multi-million dollar reselling business? Yes, you heard it, okay? Throughout what, 15 years, we sold like, gosh, like it was like I think five, $6, $7 million that we sold annually. We would be selling minimum 350 to $350,000, but my return of investment was 20x. So that means for $1 that I invested, I could get 20 back, and that was my rule. So hey there, Alaska in the house. I love it. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining us. Hi, everybody. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Beta. Hi, Tommy. Marianne, everybody. Welcome. Kim, Koala Trading, everybody. So thank you so much. So one of the things that we're big on List Perfectly, as you know, we're still the only service that is not advertising. Go and check it out. When you Google for List Perfectly, there is blasted ads everywhere. We have no sales team. How do I do this? How do I do to be a successful listing, cross listing service? Okay. And how do I do it? Because I'm using the same technique that I did as a reseller, which is organic or free marketing. And this is where Bailey comes in play because she is being able to understand, reinforce, and adapt. It's not easy to do organic marketing. It's very easy to click a button, pay, and expect different outcomes. So we're here to tell you what works, what doesn't, do's and don'ts. And we have our expert Bailey to answer your questions. So feel free to start sending your questions. If you feel that Instagram doesn't work for you, please put it right now on the comments. Instagram didn't work for me because I didn't see any upticks on traffic, or I did posts and I don't understand what I'm doing. Or, for me, for example, if it wouldn't have been for List Perfectly, I would have been so lost in Instagram and Poshmark. Both are social commerce platforms and more social Instagram. So learning how to leverage the tools that Instagram gives you is very, very important. So Bailey, let's start with the basics, okay?
Mhm.
For someone that is new, okay, or registering to Instagram, what is the most important thing that resellers should do as soon as they open? And let me tell you, if you're wondering how to open this, we're talking about not Instagram business accounts. There is a plugin from Shopify that I highly recommend you to use if you want to do business accounts. But for those of us that we want to just keep it simple and send more traffic of that traffic that Instagram is not using, because Facebook Marketplace is not doing so good. So let's take advantage of that free traffic and send it to eBay, send it to Poshmark, send it to Shopify. And why would you choose Poshmark? Because right now we're having the new excessive listing policy. So all those magic one-click deals and relist, okay, is creating a problem. There is also been a slight problem with delisting some people that are not even using listing services. So it's interesting to see how this will help you to promote your channels organically instead of using these fully automated solutions. So Bailey, where should I start? For me, it was very intimidating, even deciding if I should go with, can you explain what is a business Instagram and handle? Just please break it down to us, please.
Yeah, so you have the option to do like a business page or a personal page. I would recommend doing the business. It's not as scary as it might sound, but the reason I would say to do a business is because you can see your analytics that you don't get with the personal account. And really, that's like the biggest thing, is that you want to see your analytics because it's going to show you what content is going to do well, or what content is doing well, what content is reaching non-followers, which you can hopefully transition into followers. And one content is like your followers that you do have, what content of yours is actually being liked and enjoyed and engaged on really well. And that's how you can kind of strategize what you do going forward with your business. Some things that do well with your followers may not do well with reaching non-followers, but that doesn't mean to stop doing it because you have followers and you're getting engagement from your followers. But then you might need to also transition into doing other areas of content that reaches non-followers. So a big one would be Reels do really well with non-followers versus maybe followers. But then you might have something like, even on the List Perfectly page, when we post a lot of us in the community, us with other resellers and stuff, that does really well with our followers. And everything. So even though it doesn't maybe reach a lot of non-followers, we still do it because we get a lot of engagement from our followers. And it's not even just engagement, but it's just sharing us in the community. And that's something that people enjoy seeing. And we, of course, love being a part of the community as well. So that's different areas that I would suggest when it comes to having a business page, is that you get to really just like focus in and look at your analytics and see what's working and what's not, and you can kind of transition your content to fit and hopefully grow with your content.
Right. So for those of us that are intimidated, okay, and we're not interested in Instagram analytics, okay, we already have analytics from eBay, from Poshmark. Let's walk through the basics, okay? So we open a non-business account, right, which is what List Perfectly can offer, okay? We are integrated with non-business accounts on purpose because we understand, okay, the majority of our resellers are eBay sellers. And you know how we are with social media. Poshmark is more social, eBay not so much, okay? And we'll explain what eBay offers, all right, regarding the integration with Poshmark. For those of us that were managing data, which I highly do, okay, we have impressions, watchers, and viewers in eBay, which is for me my Bible when it comes to understand buyer behavior. So I open, let's say, because we have, even for those of you that you haven't opened an Instagram account, we have it here on List Perfectly, how to set up an Instagram account. All right. We also have how to cross post or cross list to Instagram from LP, or you can cross post from any channel directly to List Perfectly and to Instagram. And what is the difference? So, what could you say? So, I just opened an account. Where do I start, Bailey, with Instagram? The bio? Do I put a link tree? What do I do?
Yeah, so the first thing I would recommend with if you're going to be doing it, even if it is a personal page, but you're wanting to use it to drive traffic to your Poshmark closet or your eBay store or any other marketplaces that you're selling on, is keep your username pretty consistent across the board, because even if it's not a business page, you still
Yes.
have a business branding that you want to keep. So you don't necessarily have to make it a business page, but I would recommend keeping the username cohesive and consistent, because people like consistency, and people are going to see that and understand, like they're going to reference that name to you and everything. So that is really going to help people remember.
Right.
Aside from just, I mean, that's an easy one, but then your bio. So with Instagram, aside from your username, you can also have your name, which might sound a little confusing, but your username is where you have the @ symbol and then your username. But then you have your name, and in there, that is actually SEO based. So you can actually have like maybe like your first name. That way people can also have like a human quality about you and not just maybe your store, but it would be like, okay, so maybe for me, it's like my name is, I don't even know, like
Yeah.
Thrifting Mom or something like that, and it doesn't have my name in it. So I would probably put like Bailey there, and then I could put something like Poshmark Seller. And so that where it says Bailey and then Poshmark Seller, if someone
So
actually typed
help
it,
me out here. Okay, I'm here on the clothing bolt. This is my help me out to. So here it is. There you have it, guys. You can see the clothing bolt. All right.
yep.
Can you be more specific on that, Bailey? Sorry,
Yeah,
interrupt.
so that where you actually have
Yeah,
highlighted is your name. So you have your username right up at top where the following
right.
is, and then
Yeah.
the area that you have highlighted is your name. So
Okay.
there I would put
Ah,
like Bailey, and then like maybe I'll put, if like Poshmark is my main store, maybe I'll do Poshmark Seller. So then if you go to the search area, if someone typed in Poshmark Seller, that
right.
area is actually SEO based. So typing in Poshmark Seller in that area, your profile could come up because it's SEO based.
No.
So that's something that I think is pretty interesting and pretty important. And but it does have to be shorter. I think it's a very small. I can't remember how many characters it is, but
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be your name, it's not very long.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and then from there, I would definitely suggest your bio, and that's where you can really get personal.
Right.
You can describe yourself or what you're selling. If
This is
you're
the bio, right? The one that
Yep,
I'm highlighting right
yep,
now.
exactly. So, having something, whether it just be if you're very niche down, talking about your niche. If you're not, maybe talk maybe very shortly about what it is that you do, whether you're, a Poshmark seller, a top rated seller on eBay, or eco-friendly fashion
Mm-hmm.
lover, something like that. That's like it gives a little bit of a human based characteristics to you.
Right. Right.
And then one thing I suggest everyone do is have a call to action. And I think that's
Oh,
something that we all
where?
hear.
On the bio, Bailey, or
Yes.
where?
Yes. So
Oh,
typically you would have your link, and now with where
huh.
you have Clothing Vault, you could
Right,
either do like a link tree where
right,
it has all of your stores in it is what I would typically recommend. But that's not actually in your like bio, like it doesn't take up the characters. So
right.
it's perfect to have like a call to action right above it. So you could be like
All
shop
right.
my closet. And that's a call to action.
Hey,
So that would indicate people to click on your your link and then look at what you have on your closet.
there you go. So this is an account, and I want to show Liz Park here. You know, it's an incredible customer, and she did this, guys. Okay, if Liz is like, she wasn't not even on Instagram, and she trusted me on this, so I really appreciate. So this is where I'm showing you what Bailey was talking about, the Linktree links, and Linktree has a free option and a paid option. What you're seeing right here, if I'm not mistaken, this is the free option. Okay,
Yeah.
so absolutely, because the paid version, it lets you do more branding, but you see how simple she kept it. Let me,
And
you
you
know,
can also put, if you're a referral member, putting your code link in there too. And that's an easy way for people to, if you're looking at other resellers, to sign up
right,
using your reseller code for List Perfectly. And that's a way to get your passive income from the referral program as well. And it's right there along with all of your marketplaces.
right,
Um, so that's another great option as well. So I do highly recommend looking at Linktree. Is one of there's a couple free options. Either I know Milkshake is one of them as well. But
oh
Linktree is a main one. I mean, they
yeah,
both work pretty similar and everything. So just having somewhere where you can put all of your links in is really nice, because you can reach more people. Someone may always shop eBay, while someone else only likes to shop Poshmark. But so you have followers that want to see both stores.
exactly, exactly. Now, Bailey, what in my case, all right, I didn't know. I set up my Instagram account. I was doing social commerce back in 2014 already.
Mhm.
So, what should I do? Should I put the same image that I have for my eBay, Poshmark Closet, Shopify, etc., in the Instagram handle, or what do I do?
Yeah, so I mean, typically you would either want to do your sort of logo to stick with the branding, similar to your username. All of that being cohesive across the board is going to um, embed in people's minds, so that they can um, identify that photo with your store, with your business and stuff like that. If you don't want to go that route, I would put a photo of yourself, because you want to personalize it. You want to give personality to your page. You want to humify it a little bit as well. So I would
Right?
say one or the other, either a photo of yourself if you're not comfortable doing that, which is totally okay. I
That's
would
me.
go,
Not
yeah.
comfortable with that.
You
Not
don't want to take
like,
selfies. It's okay.
clothing vault, I'll be honest, okay, guys, on the clothing vault, let me see. I have 282 posts, all right, and I only have one picture of myself, okay, and I was like, with the clothing vault, okay, and I'll show you only one picture. So, oh no, Tommy, we're not judging here, okay, and whoever is judging, okay, no, okay, so we're here. No, Tommy, we're here to hold your hand and take care. So please ask no question is silly or anything. Okay, no, you're so welcome, love. Okay, no, 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 no. So we're here to support each other. Soon we're gonna be asking to attendees drop your not yet, okay, your Instagram handle, and then we can follow each other, because that's a beautiful thing. It's about, believe me, for following another seller, you're not gonna lose, okay, traffic being sent to your eBay or Poshmark store. Doesn't work like that. Okay, so it's very, 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 very what would I say? Very flexible when it comes to that. In actually, Instagram likes that interaction, so they will bump you up on visibility when it comes to that. So, what would you say in my case, guys? I'll be honest, I am not, I don't even have, okay. I don't like putting my private life on Instagram. I can't imagine doing that. It's not for me, but not everybody is alike. In my case, I did just these posts of items. Oh wow, they look better now with the new, wow, this looks good. It used to be one by one, and now that they made it the longer way. So you can see it's items, 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 and more items. All right. And there it is. I just want to show the date that I did this. May 7th, 2019. Okay. I was already doing social market and redirecting traffic to my different listings. And the beautiful thing is that it gives you organic traffic. Look at these 37 likes. Okay. And look at all the comments you get. Okay. So it's just incredible the power of Instagram when it comes to sending. So I'm just showing you here that literally I can keep scrolling down and there is no picture of me. I think I'm going to find, this is when I started to play with different tools that were helping you to do like a collage, they call it. Okay. But these are my items. It's not number one. This is not a marketplace. So those shall not, okay, upload in bulk, okay, 20 listings to Instagram. Doesn't work like that. Out of your 50, 20 listings that you listed that day, you're going to cherry pick what's your favorite. All right. That's crucial. You can do, like, for example, me for cohesion. All right. I did this image. I shared this image, which is one of the images that I have on my website, the Clothing Vault. So that as simple, all right, I kept it, hey, get an idea. You see the bat that is used. Okay, I put the Clothing Vault baseball cap. But these are the things that I did in order to promote organically my Instagram account. And you see, it keeps going and going and going and going. So, and I keep it themed. Sometimes I put t-shirts. This is my summers, Grateful Death. I put like cute pictures of, aloha shirts, and some things like that with a little beer. So I was having fun.
Yeah, that's really nice because it looks almost like styled. So it gives people ideas on how they could honestly style it too. Which I've fallen into that too, where like I've seen people style things and I'm like, oh, I need to go check out their stuff because this is like really cute. And I like the way that it's styled and everything. So it almost like, it also helps with that too, helps a potential buyer envision how to, if you're doing clothes, how to style it or something too.
And you can see here, this one, I did it manually. So I wanted to do a test of manual listing. And look how beautiful the picture is. I did a manual listing versus list perfectly, cross listing. So you can see there is barely interaction. There is a lot of likes, but there is no questions. So that brings me to my point. So yes, the reason I did, guys, this was to enhance the sale of multiple items to the same customer. And this accelerated to me when I had 3,000 plus listings. Under 3,000 listings, because I'm one of a kind seller, was very hard for me to sell bundles to sellers. But this was a game changer for me to, like you said, give an idea of what they can style, so you have an aloha shirt. I'm positioning myself as a trusted, knowledgeable vintage person. I put a beer with an opener. And of course, there is a Hawaiian shirt right there, with a Levi's pair of pants. So I try to make it cohesive, but you don't need to do this. This is just me testing what worked originally and what didn't. So let's go through. What would you say? I was lazy. I'm Clara. I don't want to put my face. Do you think, just in order to keep it simple, a simple grid, or when we say grid, guys, in Instagram, is the layout, okay, of the listings that you're cross listing there or listing. What would you suggest a simple grid layout for our resellers that are intimidated or they want to get started on this?
Yeah, so honestly, I think consistency is key. And I think we kind of already know that when it comes to like our reselling businesses and how we list on our platforms and everything. Typically our listing style with photos is pretty consistent in terms of if you're listing all jeans or if you're listing all shoes, you kind of have a way that you shoot your listings and everything. And I would take that and roll that over into Instagram. It is definitely a more visually pleasing site. People like things to be visually pleasing as well. So I think just having something that's consistent across the board is also similar to like your username or having your logo. Is it people are going to identify that with you and your stuff. And then like Claire is saying, if you're not comfortable being on camera, one thing I will say that's different from when Clara was posting on the Clothing Vault Instagram is there wasn't reels at that time. You know, videos didn't come out until I think 2020.
Wait. No, I can show you. I have a video. And you know why I did it, Bailey? And I was on a beta tester in 2016.
Yeah,
2016.
there was like before
Yes,
it was like the TikTok style, there was like the longer form video,
yes.
but they didn't start pushing out
Oh,
more
you're
of
right.
that.
It wasn't reels. It was a
Yeah,
video for, oh,
yeah.
you're right. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. So Reels came out, I believe it was 2020, like leading into 2021, because that's when TikTok really popped off, was during 2020 and COVID. So then obviously, you know, all social media's gotta like bounce off of each other and feed off of each other and stuff. So then Instagram started promoting their Instagram Reels in I believe like later 2020 time. And that's what's still being kind of pushed out mainly today is a lot of their of Reels. But like Claire's saying, if you're not someone who's comfortable in front of a camera, this is something that Teresa actually does. And she'll do something like when she's shipping her items, she'll do like either like a time lapse video. You don't have to talk. You don't, you know, you don't have to show your face at all.
Yep.
And you're just packing orders. And that right there is content. And I've said this before on lives before when I've done the social media ones. You can do things that you're already doing in your business to create content for. So, you know, if you're packing orders, if you're listing items, like yeah, even something as simple as that of just doing a
I
much
know
more.
I did this because I was tired, Bailey, of getting people buying my new old stock vintage items. They would use it and then they would tell me, oh, and then they would break the zipper and then tell me, oh, you sent me a flow item. And this video saved me on eBay.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I sent that video because it was a case, and this video saved me from an item not as described. And this is something, and you see, I'm not again, I'm not a person of showing my face, okay? So this is a clear example of what you can do on Instagram without showing your face.
And if you're not even comfortable talking, you don't even have to talk on
Nope.
it. You can either add text on the video if you want to get into like editing the video, or you can just put things in the caption and talk about things there. Like you can personalize it without being the person on the screen. Like you can really personalize your page. And I think that's something to talk about is like you still want to give your Instagram personality even as a business, but you can do that in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be you sharing your face. Like Star is saying, like you can still post.
I have one picture with this is the only picture, July 26, 2017, Bailey, that I went to buy to the Oakland flea market in Northern California. And this is on the Redwoods. That's it.
Yep. And like Star saying, like you can still post and be active on social media without getting too personal and sharing too much of your life. I'm someone who does that as well. I share a lot of content about being a working mom, but I don't share my kids online. So my kids are not online. I'll share videos with my kids in it, but I'm very strategic on how I post it. So their faces aren't in it. They're not in a vulnerable setting at all because I really want to respect them and like they're not at an age where they can talk about it. And also you just don't know what's online. So of course there's ways to show up online without being too personal, but you can also still share your personality without, you know, you don't need to show your face. You don't need to, even if you don't feel comfortable talking or doing voiceovers, or if you're outsourcing, you know, talking in public, those things can be very intimidating, and it can take practice. I mean, I used to be very scared of it, and then I started vlogging in public, and you know, I've gotten comfortable with it. But you don't have to get to that point. You can personalize your captions to make it very much your your personality and the way that you type and speak and stuff like that in your captions. You could edit videos and have text on the screen and add music that's like part of your interest as well. There's ways to personalize it and show your personality without it being like, you're on YouTube Live right now and this is my personality and I'm very outgoing and stuff like that. And things like that. Like, I'm very comfortable obviously doing it because I've been doing it for so long. And it's just
You're
part of my
generation, for
yeah.
the main, the main audience of LP, to be honest, okay, is 30 to 50, okay? So we're like an older generation that we're not so comfortable maybe sharing our, or being, it took me, guys, a long time to get comfortable doing these lives and being live in front of camera. For Bailey, it's just automatic, okay? Whether it's in person, in virtual, Bailey just flies with it, okay? But I just want to keep, Bailey, I have a question to you. Back in the day, I leveraged one of the things that made me very successful in sending traffic to eBay, because I was one of the first ones. Back in the day, 15 years ago, everybody was like, let's steal traffic from eBay and Poshmark and the whole thing. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of work, okay? Just to do something, again, terms of service. So I started to send traffic to eBay and Poshmark and Shopify. So for those of us that we are interested in using social media just to send traffic to our accounts, do you think that hashtags that LP creates automatically for you, all right? You don't even have to type one, okay? We do it, we send it to the right format to Poshmark, we send it to the right format to Instagram, to Grail, you name it. Are they still relevant in 2025?
I would say not as much. I think back in the day, like, I'd say even, like, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
they wanted, like, 30 hashtags, and
Remember?
you would get, like, good engagement from those hashtags. I remember my posts used to really get, like, hundreds of likes, and now it's like I can hardly get 100 likes on things now, and it's like, and that's one of the areas, and I don't know if any of you have seen this, but on a specific hashtag in the past, when you click on that hashtag, obviously it's like a hyperlink to that hashtag, and you would have the popular like that hashtag and like the popular posts in one tab, and then you could click recent and you would see all the recent posts from that hashtag, and that's no longer an option. Now it's the popular stuff. So things, obviously, if there was large traction, people with several thousands of followers get the traction from those hashtags because they're already getting engagement on their posts. So unfortunately, I definitely don't think it's as big of a deal anymore. They went down at one point to saying you should only have 3 to 5 hashtags. Now it's more, I would say roughly 7 to 10 is a sweet spot. But I would get pretty specific with your hashtags and keep it very niche down. You can get a little bit broader with like reseller community, Poshmark seller, things like that. But then I would also focus some on some much more specific hashtags. And because you're focusing on like 7 to 10, you can do that where you have maybe like 3 or 4 broader, community-based hashtags with reselling and things like that, and then maybe things that are more niche down. And yeah, that's one area where social media is definitely always changing in. So it's unfortunate to see that because I have seen a decline in my engagement, and it's just something that, you have to go with the flow of how Instagram and other social medias change. But I would say the sweet spot is to stick around 7 to 10 hashtags.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. So now we're going to go to the section, guys, of what should I post. So I'm going to show you an example of something that I did. Like I told you, I'm not a big on showing my face. I'll just put my hand and that's it. But I want to show you, for example, how on this post I put, hey, I'm a top rated seller with the highest, anything. And then I put something that I saw, ugly Christmas sweater for $72. Okay, so just to give you an idea what I posted, and then I followed like, hey, here it is what I'm shipping. This was a normal day for me. This was every day I was shipping approximately 20 packages, having 4,000 to 5,000 listings and one-of-a-kind listings, all of them. So you can see again, these posts is from November 2017. LP went viral on August 2019. So I just want to give you an idea of what this is telling buyers. I'm like, oh, wow, this person is really shipping. So I wanted to show, hey, I am a top rated seller and look how I ship. That was my strategy and it worked for me so well. I did for example, on this listing, okay, I want to show you guys how HBAR, this is an HBAR C. This is a very good, Western country style, classy clothing. And look at how HBAR C official commented on this post. That helped me tremendously. When I did this post of Ralph Lauren, I kid you not, guys, the next day on Etsy, I got a purchase from Ralph Lauren for 30 items. I'll never forget it, $8,000. Thank you, Ralph Lauren. And that was incredible. It helped me to reach accounts like that. It was epic, and you see, how did I do it? By putting Polo Ralph Lauren, Western style, and that's how they found me. So that's something that I wanted to share. What are your thoughts on, Bailey, on the balance, okay, of how to mix, okay, different styles, different kind of posts on your grid or your Instagram account in order to keep your audience engaged, please?
Yes, absolutely. And I think what you did in 2017 is a perfect example of what I say. And that is, you don't need to go above and beyond with your social media because you're already running businesses. You don't want to burn yourself out with trying to do social media. And that's why I always preach to just do content of what you're already doing as a reseller. So if you're not wanting to film it, taking photos like what Clara did with, she was shipping items, snapped a quick photo of her shipping pile, that's content right there. And you didn't really have to do extra work besides just take a quick photo and it goes out. If you have customer reviews that are really like heartfelt and like you want to share that, like that's also really great because when someone is driven to your page, they see that you're a reliable seller and that, this is what people have said about like, purchasing from you. So having customer reviews is stuff that's like, you don't have to really get that extra content because they kind of did it for you. And you don't have to get super fancy with it, with like making graphics on it. You could literally just screenshot the customer review and post that screenshot. It doesn't have to be super, fancy and have to go above and beyond and all this extra work, because I do think you want to take care of your mental health and like not and avoid burnout while still staying consistent and being present online. But you don't have to do it in a way that's going to overwork you when you're already juggling your business and stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you for those thoughts, Bailey. So my next section, guys, I'm going to be talking what's the difference, because we all know you can use that Instagram integration on eBay, on Poshmark, and different marketplaces, even in Shopify. Shopify is for business accounts. I tried business accounts. I couldn't do it, Bailey. I was like intimidated by more data. It felt like it felt for me like it was an additional marketplace. And for me, that I'm so good and so strong on eBay and Poshmark, I didn't see the investment or return of investment of my time on an Instagram business account. For me, it was intimidating. But if you guys try it, it's like Bailey said, she recommends that. But the thing is that your listings now are going to have a link that says shop now. So that's a thing that is mainly important. Whereas with the accounts, of just a personal account of Instagram, you kind of have to tell people, hey, this is where is my eBay store. This is where my Poshmark closet is. This is what my website with Shopify. You don't need to say Shopify, right? But I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay. So this is an Instagram account, and this is how it looks when you share from eBay. So the problem that we have with this is that, let me click it. So I can't do anything. It's not clickable. So that's the reason sometimes I'm like, how are you going to make me click on this? So I have to go copy, put it on a new tab, open a tab, then go there. So it's just something, or I gotta go to the person's account and go to the bio so I can access that. So for me, that was a challenge versus going to an account that you have already a listing like this that is done with list perfectly. And it's just, we're taking care of you. We are taking care of you. Look, we even put all the measurements, we put everything. So one of the things that I want to emphasize, yes, can you do it with different marketplaces? No doubt. But how are you going to get that person to get this link, cut and paste? Because nowadays people are very, they're very, there is such a, it's so image driven nowadays. What are your thoughts on that, Bailey, please?
Yeah, honestly, from a younger generation point of view, I think because it's not a hyperlink, it kind of makes the caption look a little messy. So like, because you can't click on it, and that can be kind of infuriating, and like, you want things to be quickly, and the way List Perfectly does it, like you lay out the description, so that also allows someone who is looking to possibly buy it. Like if you have your measurements and you have things that are it's very well, the description is very well done and detailed, someone knows if it's going to fit them or not, and if they're going to look at purchasing it or not. But if you don't have enough in the description or in your caption in this case, and then you just have the link, but it's not even a clickable link, well, then I have to do all this work to even see if this is even something that's like in my size and everything too. So then it's like, okay, then you might even just get annoyed there. And so that can make things a little bit harder. So I think List Perfectly keeps things very consistent, and also like having that whole description come over as well also keeps it very consistent with your listings,
Right.
which is just nice. Like I've been preaching this whole episode, like to talk about like just being consistent across the board with, the way things look and everything, and people will start to associate those things with you and your brand. So that's just something to keep in mind, and it just kind of keeps it clean. And then that also, because that was an eBay link, maybe someone typically only buys from Poshmark, or
Right.
vice versa. If it's a Poshmark link and they only buy off of eBay, well, when you have your link in your bio, you have all of your stores. So someone who's comfortable buying from Poshmark would click the Poshmark closet. Someone who's comfortable buying from eBay or has an eBay login, those are things that can also help too, that people don't always buy from multiple marketplaces. So it allows people to come in, and you're getting more eyes on things because you have people like Poshmark buyers, and you have eBay buyers, or you have Shopify buyers or Depop buyers and stuff like that.
Right.
But you also are allowing them to buy from whatever marketplace they're comfortable buying from.
That's key, Bailey. That's key. That I was preaching in 2015. Give them the freedom to go and choose to shop from you wherever you want. The biggest mistake, what I see, Bailey, is when people open their website, they're blasting on Instagram their website only. And that's the biggest mistake you can do. As a buyer, if you're pushing me into your website, I'm going to be like, if they sell on eBay or Poshmark, I'm going to go there because I feel safer.
Yeah,
so
they have their requirements and things like that, where things can be disputed and whatnot. And of course, those can can be kind of annoying every now and then. But it also, from a buyer's aspect, can feel like a peace of mind, especially if it's something you've never bought before,
Right.
and you're kind of scared to just throw your money at something,
Right.
and risk, getting
There
some.
you have it. Because you want new people to come. That right? You're
Yeah,
doing this for
exactly.
new people. Exactly. So if you're forcing me just into one channel, I'm gonna be like, wait a second, okay. I don't buy in eBay. Okay, I'm at Poshmark. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next seller.
Mhm.
So that's something very important that I would like. I want to clarify. So I'm glad that we touched on that point. We're coming close to the end of our session, but first I want to publish something that Star Bryson, Flipping Hippos, amazing Flipping Hippos. You can subscribe to her YouTube account. You can go to her Facebook group, Facebook page, you name it, okay? Instagram, you name it. She's everywhere, Flipping Hippos. So she says there are 2 Instagram accounts you can and should. One for the community and other for the reseller. When you say for the community, I would say and other for the buyers. The only tweak I could say is try not to make the same, because sometimes we make reseller jokes. So if I'm a buyer and I'm seeing reseller jokes, I'm going to be kind of turned off. So make sure you have an account for your buyers and another account, okay, for the community or the resellers. And if you have personal, it takes a little to learn to manage effectively personal with buyers or resellers. So I'm like Star Bryson. I recommend it to keep it separate unless you're a pro. But what are your thoughts on that, Bailey?
No, I think that's a great thing that you're bringing up, especially from the aspect of, sometimes we use our reselling community page, or like our reseller specific like Instagram, to maybe vent a little bit that we
Right.
might not want not resellers, buyers to see.
Right.
Maybe it's lowball offers and you're just like a little bit annoyed from that. But then you don't want buyers to like stray away from asking for an offer, because sometimes you do accept offers and everything too, so you don't want to give the wrong message of you know a buyer not wanting to send in an offer because they're afraid of being like blasted on your Instagram or something like that. Obviously we do things in a pretty respectable way, but we do vent and ask for opinions of other resellers, because for the most part you're doing this fairly alone. You're working a lot of times just you and your computer. So having a place in a community where you can ask these things is great to have. So I definitely do recommend that, and I think that's a great thing to bring up, and just like to also remember, if you are keeping it all as one, just to maybe not, or like have like a close friends like
Yes.
stories or something where it's like all resellers that can and not just like anyone who follows you and stuff. But yeah,
Right.
I definitely would recommend, but there's ways to go around that if you don't want to have multiple pages, if that can be too chaotic or confusing.
Awesome. Now, Bailey, are you ready? I want to put you on the spot and we're going to do a rapid fire of questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you say for us resellers? Okay, and keep in mind our main audience. Okay, we are like kind of almost not very social. Okay, so and of course our main platform is eBay. So shall we do reels or just post on Instagram? What do you think we should be doing?
I would say reels.
Oh my. So if you're there, you have it. If you're creating videos already, back in the day, I had to do videos on Instagram because eBay didn't have, Poshmark, they didn't have a capacity for inserting a video. So I agree with you, Bailey, because there is a double intention. For me was showing the qualities of the product, but also showing that the product work, whether it's clothing or it's a phone, you might want to turn it on and just show that, yes, that is working. That will protect you from any possible scam, all right? And also give you free advertising. Thank you, Bailey. Are you ready for the next one?
Yep.
Shall we show behind the scenes sourcing?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I think anyway, if you're gonna, if you're already doing things, why
Right,
not share a little bit? And I know we like to kind of protect maybe
right,
where we do our sourcing and stuff, but I think there's a way to do it where you can kind of make it fun, and you don't have to do like, you don't have to show the spots that you source from if you want to keep that private and everything, but
right.
maybe share like what you got from where you sourced it. So it's still like
Okay.
a behind the scenes, but
I
it
was
doesn't,
waiting for you to say that. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So it doesn't have to be like, you sharing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're sharing content in a different way, whether it's a haul, whether it's, a still photo like this or something.
Right,
You're still sharing that stuff. And it also kind of gets people who might want to buy, like, oh, I can't wait for that to get listed. Like, I'm gonna wait for that drop or something, or something of that where it kind of leads to anticipation for it.
right,
But you could also still be private to where you're not showing where you're sourcing items from for, a multitude of aspects, whether it's safety or anything like that, where you don't want people to know where you go and everything. But
right.
yeah, there's definitely different ways to do it. And it doesn't, I mean, you're already going to be doing it. So just take a photo. We all have these things in our hands that you can do video, you can do photos from
Yeah.
that. It doesn't take much to just snap a quick photo or
Right.
like
And
do
I'll
a
tell you
video
why.
or something.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why I did this picture, Bailey. You know why I did this? Because I would have that the trend at that time, and this is in June 2017. People would tell me, "Oh, your clothing smells." I have so many requests, and again, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I started to pay attention to the returns, and they were pre-owned. They used it, and then that's how I protect. Again, I protected myself by showing, "Look, I have a very organized place where I put the items. I wanted to show that it's clean, that
Yeah.
is protected from the elements." So these picture guys saved me so many times. I showed it to eBay so many times. It saved me tremendous amount of time when I was disputing item not as described or flawed, etc.
Yeah, and I know we've had like videos of Teresa's inventory,
Yeah,
and those have gone, semi-viral on like TikTok and stuff too, where it's like, and people
yeah,
have asked questions. Like I just kind of repurposed a video from like a year or two ago and like
yeah,
made it a little different. And it got new traction where people were asking like questions on it and stuff. So seeing how people do inventory
right,
from like a buyer or a reseller aspect is always kind of interesting. And like Clara's saying, from like a vintage clothing aspect and seeing the quality of how things were stored and everything is nice to see as a potential buyer.
right. My final question. You ready, Bailey?
Mhm.
Okay. Share a customer story or testimonial? Ooh, maybe
I'd
both.
say both.
Huh?
You could switch it up, I think that those are different ways to do content, and if you're feeling stuck, but you wanna post something, you could go a quick and easy route of sharing a testimonial because someone kinda created that content for you already, or, if you want to if you have a little bit more time where you can share, like, a customer story or your interaction with a customer and, like, speak on that or something,
Right.
if you have that extra time to do that. But so I definitely wouldn't limit to like one or the other because I think they're both great.
That is so true. That is so true. Guys, you can keep it as simple as taking a screenshot when you get feedback from your buyers. That's it. You take it's public information. You're not infringing on anything. So it's public information. You can take a screenshot like I did from my customers' feedback and say, hey, I'm a top rated seller. I'm a seasoned seller of eBay. Let's say sometimes it happens that you lose your top rated seller. So don't let that flag or etiquette, okay, make you feel actually you should be doing more social commerce if by any reason you lost some top rated status, or you're having like maybe not enough sales in a certain channel. Thank you so much for this, Bailey. So I want to invite everybody to join us now, because here, we have you limited on YouTube with just pretty much it's a presentation. But if you join us now, we're going to go to the after party, so you can see that you can watch this live in here on Listing Party. But we have the after party, where Bailey and myself will be ready to offer and have a deeper conversation with you about Instagram and social commerce and how could that help you even more. I want to thank you, Bailey. I know you're very busy with List Perfectly, with two, not one, two boys, guys, two boys. Okay, so speak about a mom that has a full hands. Okay, so thank you for your time. Thank you for everything you do for LP. And we shall see each other at Listing Party. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing weekend and have many sales. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.